Broncos just get phenomenal news when it comes to the AFC playoff picture. Everything we needed to happen today basically happened. It was one of those situations where your brain and your heart were saying two totally different things, but the brain won. The Broncos are in a phenomenal position here to make a deep run in the AFC playoffs. We are breaking all that down and more in this video. If you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben. Helps me in the algorithm out a ton. If you like the Broncos, you're tired of this bye week stuff, smash that like and subscribe button. Let's dive in. So the big thing that all of the Twitter was reminding me of is that I needed to push back against my heart, which I was hate watching that entire Kansas City Chiefs game against the Colts, because I knew in my head the best thing was for the Chiefs to win that game because it gives the Broncos a way better shot at getting that number 1 seed, that first round bye. And then you're saying that the Denver Broncos only have to win 2 home playoff games to make it to the Super Bowl. We know that our home field advantage is like lights out. The Broncos have won 10 straight games going back to last season. Going to altitude is hard. It is loud. It is raucous. So it would have been a perfect thing here for the Chiefs to end up beating the Colts, because the Broncos then have a 1-game lead and then don't have to worry about the tiebreaker. We remember that the Broncos outplayed the Colts for that whole game. I was there. The scoreboard flashed Denver Broncos win, and then a weird, mysterious flag ended up on the field. I would love to not have to go back to Indianapolis and play a playoff game, and if the season were to end today, that would not have to happen. The Broncos have a game lead on that and don't have to worry about the tiebreaker, and then the really cool thing here is that if the Broncos and the Patriots both win out the rest of their games, because the Patriots lost a head-to-head to the Raiders, and we did not, the Denver Broncos would have the number 1 seed. If we, the Colts, and the Patriots all won out, we would not have the 1 seed. So that is looking absolutely phenomenal. And then on top of that, we are starting to see now that the Broncos aren't just like have a pretty good shot at winning the AFC West. They have a 50-50 chance at winning the entire AFC. Absolutely incredible to see that. The odds makers are saying that it is going to be your Broncos who are the AFC champions. Right now, the New England Patriots barely snuck one over against a horrible Cincinnati Bengals defense. In particular, 26-20 was the final score there. We're going to look at some of the analytics from that. But that Cincinnati defense has actually taken steps back since we absolutely mollywopped them on Monday Night Football. Shamar Stewart famously is not playing. And so that defense has gotten worse, and Drake May barely squeaked one out and threw a pick 6 in that game. I think the Broncos are a much better team than the New England Patriots. Our schedule over these last 6 games is more difficult than the Patriots, but we'll get into that in just a second. According to Vegas odds makers, your Broncos over-under now, when it started the season right at 9.5, has now jumped up 3 games to 12.5. Meaning, like, if you take the over, that means the Broncos win at least 13 games, so we would lose 2 of our next couple 6 games, and we would win 4, or a 12-5. To me, when you are 9-2 at this point, with the schedule that we had with those 7 games in 37 days, going to London, going to the Eagles on a short week, playing the best offense in football in the Dallas Cowboys, beating your division rival, I just don't understand how we could, over this last stretch, go 500 unless we aren't going to get the 1 seed and we're resting players in that Chargers game or something, which we'll get to here in a second. Now, the other great thing about the Chiefs winning that game was it was not like a bounce back to the old Chiefs who just dominated every single game they were in. They did not look like an unbeatable team by any stretch of the imagination. Over these last couple games now, they're 2 for 11 in the red zone. They just were not finishing. Their own content creators are saying, like, this is rough, guys. Like, how are we 2 for 11? Even Talking Colts, the Colts podcast I listened to, was just like, Mahomes did not look good. We held the Chiefs to 1 touchdown that whole game. We did not even get sacked a single time for Daniel Jones. We picked off Mahomes early in that game. There was a fumble. We won the turnover battle. We hit Mahomes 4 times. Mahomes threw for 46 times, and we still lost. That is something that would not happen to Sean Payton, because he is truly the best coach in football, in my opinion, right now. He's definitely better than Shane Steichen. There's not even an argument there. And I think the Colts truly blew that game. It wasn't the Chiefs coming in and all of a sudden looking like game wreckers again. It was really the Colts kind of giving that game up when they should have won. The other great things that we're seeing across the NFL here is that the Raiders are officially going to switch over here into tank mode. They played that game against the Cowboys, and you're like, ooh, they're actually still trying to play, but they are getting absolutely handed it to them against the Cleveland Browns. The Browns had 7 sacks in 34 minutes of play, so that's a team that we have up on our schedule here right after the Commanders, and I'm loving how that matchup looks. And just seeing one of the other things that we're seeing across the NFL is that defenses are king this year in the NFL. And if you do not have a top defense in the NFL, you might as well go home in January and February, because you're not making it far. And every single MVP candidate in football right now, the quarterbacks, are putting up pedestrian numbers at best. We're seeing everyone like hoot and holler about how good Mahomes is. We just saw Mahomes only scored 1 touchdown on the Colts, who don't have a great defense. Looking at Lamar Jackson's numbers, like he's rattling off all these wins, and we would run Bo Nix out of town so fast if he put up the types of numbers that he has over these last 3 weeks. Even Bo Nix's bad game against the Jets, he still looked better than Lamar Jackson did today, and that was a weird game that the Broncos played in London after just being in Philadelphia. And so I think I just would love to start to see quarterbacks judged equally. There's something about Bo Nix being the last quarterback in that first round that people are way harsher with him than anyone else. And it goes back even to Thursday night, just seeing the Houston Texans put on an absolute clinic on Josh Allen, sacking him eight times, pressuring him 28 times, making him throw 2 interceptions. Bo Nix played that same exact defense, and national media killed him. That was after Colin Cowherd came out and said, we think that Sean Payton's going to draft another quarterback. Josh Allen's in the MVP conversation every single year, and he's the best quarterback in football, right? And the Broncos only gave up 1 sack to that exact same defense in the exact same situation. And so I would love to start to see some of those, the quarterbacks compared equally, because it's just not fair. So loved here, respect my co-host. Came out and was just saying that, remember when everyone said J.J. McCarthy was going to be way better than Bo Nix, and Bo Nix's worst game of the season was this game here against the Titans, the first game of the season, where he threw 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, really missed a couple at the end where he could have had another touchdown, and just pointing out the fact that, man, the Vikings would kill for that stat line at any point in the year, that Bo Nix's worst day would be J.J. McCarthy's best day in football. And that's, again, not an opinion. That is just a cold, hard fact. And then just seeing all the people talk about how Drake May is the better quarterback out of that class than Bo Nix, and loved here just seeing the fact that, Bo Nix has never thrown a pick 6 in his NFL career, and seeing that, again, Drake May did this against a abysmal Bengals defense. And I just think that because of the way the schedule has played out for the New England Patriots, the only game that they've won that really impressed me was that game they beat the Buffalo Bills, and they got to do it again here really shortly. And I just think the Broncos will pass the New England Patriots up in the AFC. And if not, I feel very comfortable going to Foxborough and playing this, because I know Sean Payton will have a great game plan for that. Cody Rourke points it out perfectly here. This is the most wide open the AFC has ever been. And so who do you put your confidence in at that point? And it's Sean Payton. Everything he has told us would come true has come true. Everyone who laughed at him for saying this was a Super Bowl caliber team, and now we're first place in the, second place in the AFC right now. It is all coming true. And when you have Sean Payton and you have Bo Nix, you're making a deep run in the playoffs. And looking ahead here at our schedule, I just think it matches up extremely favorably for us coming out of the bye. I think that bye week comes at a perfect time. We get a chance now on Sunday Night Football. We're not going to be sleeping past that game. It's a national game, and you get a chance to play the Washington Commanders, who are either going to be without Jaden Daniels, their starting quarterback. We'll hear that in the weeks to come, and even with him, he's going to be hobbled, and that is a team that has given up on the season. And then we get the Vegas Raiders, who we already showed you, 6 sacks in 34 minutes. The Broncos are going to run wild. They might break the sack record by that game if they put up the type of numbers I think they can. Green Bay at home does not scare me anymore. They lost to the Panthers at home. They tied the Cowboys, who look like they're just getting rolled up on. Jacksonville Jaguars struggling with a backup quarterback right now in the Arizona Cardinals. And then the game on Christmas night, that is going to be an absolute crazy game to end our holiday season there. But I'm feeling really confident because the Chiefs did win today, but they did not look like game wreckers whatsoever. And then this game against the Chargers, this is going to be very interesting. If the 1 seed is no longer in play, like let's say New England Patriots end up winning out the rest of the season and there's no possible way for the Broncos to get the 1 seed, I think it'd be really smart for Sean and the team to kind of rest our starters during this last game. But we've got a lot of time until then, and we'll break it all down here. Got an amazing week of content, even though it is a Thanksgiving week. Got some cool plans here for the show. Thanks for riding with me. As always, Broncos country, we got a ton to be thankful for, and it's a lot of reason to believe. Come on.